Welcome to Measurably Better Learning, the podcast built for learning and development professionals. Whether you're an instructional designer, L&D professional, or corporate leader, get ready for insights and ideas that will transform your approach to learning, training, and development. So let's dive in. In this introductory episode, we're going to focus on ourselves for a little bit. We're going to introduce ourselves, Miriam, as we should. We'll talk just briefly about who we are and what some of our passions are. And we'll talk about our purpose in this podcast, some of its goals, and why we think, and this is, I know, what we both hope, that this contributes to the benefit of the L&D industry. I mean, it's an interesting community of professionals that people really do care about each other. And we hope to help with that.
So let's just dive in then, Jerry. You've had a very diverse educational journey, lots of interesting things. So why don't you just share with our audience how that shaped your perspective on learning and development?
Yeah, I don't think of learning and development as an end. I think of it as a means to something. And there were some people that were really influential in my life as teachers. One was second, third grade, right? Mrs. Brown, who just retired from teaching.
Wow, that's impressive career.
And I mean, I still remember things that we did and things that she said all the way back that many years ago. The professors that I've had, the high school teachers that I've had, the graduate schools I've been part of, all of them are like, shining some part of me, are sharpening some part of me, or dulling some part of that needed to dull it. And so to see learning and training and development as an opportunity to help people grow, that is what is motivational to me. And that's why I've been in some form of adult education, adult learning for more than 30 years. How about you?
I thought for a minute there you looked at my notes, so you kind of stole my line there, but that's okay.
I had no original thought.
You're totally AI generated, right?
I am, and genius is the ability to conceal my sources. So
that's funny. No, I'd say similar. I mean, I started out in education. I taught high school for close to 10 years. Kind of fell into that. It was suggested that I get a degree that I could get a job with by my dad.
And he was right.
And he was right. Yeah, that's right. I had a liberal arts degree. He was hoping I could also get paid. So, and I love liberal arts education. Yeah. So, but did that for a while. But I think always, like as I look back now, I've always been a coach, or I've always been some kind of teacher, or wanting again to help people grow. So that's shaped my whole journey. I did my own business for a while with some consulting, again, having a team that we were growing together and also helping others learn and grow. I've led multiple learning teams, kind of dabbled in, done a lot of the software. I've done a lot of instructional design. I mean, that's how I was trained, obviously, and then grown more into what I would call like an organizational development, leadership development type roles. But I think at the heart of it, we're both always trying to help our clients or help our whoever we're working with determine what the real problem or the real opportunity is, and not being reactive, but always trying to be proactive. Let's figure out what the real issue is here, and then let's design an amazing learning experience around that, solving your real issue and really helping your learner. So I think that's really shaped both of our views of what this world should be looking like.
And we've worked together a long time.
We have. Long time.
We're going to come back after a break in just a bit, but we thought it would be good just to make some purpose statements and to lay them out there so that our listeners understand the reason why we're doing this. So the very first one is to offer a practical and insightful look into the world of particularly corporate, not only corporate, but largely corporate learning and development. That's largely what you and I have done for the past number of years. So that's one of the central purposes of the Measurably Better Learning podcast.
Yeah, and I think another one is that we want to discuss and talk about high-quality learning solutions, but that give you, our listeners, opportunities to hear, like, what are the latest trends, or explore new techniques or strategies in the field where maybe you have a full plate at work all the time, but this is 15 minutes. You can listen, on the subway on the way home or in your car or sitting in traffic, and you can get like a quick little blurb of something new that's out there that we've been looking at.
And we do have a cool position because we are working with dozens and sometimes hundreds of different clients with different needs and different technological aptitudes that they need and solutions. And so we really do get to see a whole bunch of some pretty mundane stuff, some okay stuff, and some fantastic.
Some amazing things.
And then finally, just to present some real world applications, right? We, I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm not going to lay that for you, but I'm right. And so I can go theoretical but the idea is to keep this practical. We'll be having guests on. They'll come in with specific information and specific individual perspectives. But at the end of the day, we want this to be a valuable resource. That's really the goal.
Yeah,
is for you to say, I learned something.
Yeah,
maybe that should be.
I learned something.
Something.
Something. Yeah.
Let's drop the G. I learned something, but that's the idea. Is that I learned something that we can apply and we can put to work. So, we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Imagine a world where every training session, every learning module, and every translated document is aligned with your company's unique goals and global ambitions. Welcome to Ingenuity, where we don't just talk about elevating your corporate learning, we make it happen. At Ingenuity, we understand the heart of your business is its people. That's why we specialize in creating custom learning solutions and translation services that are not just effective, but are designed specifically for your business's global needs. Let us show you how learning cannot be just better, but measurably better, with solutions tailored just for you. Learn more in the description below. All right, well, welcome back. So one of the things we wanted to provide too was not just our purpose overall, but some specific goals. Because there's I don't want to say there's hundreds, probably millions of podcasts out there on all different topics. And so we've already shared a little bit of our purpose, but what are some of our goals, Jerry, as we're, thinking through topics and all of that?
Industry knowledge. And you talked about it in the first segment a little bit. One of the things you end up doing is, if you're working for a specific company on specific projects, you're focusing on those things. Maybe every once in a while you read a book. Maybe once a year you get to go to, a conference somewhere and hear and see some cool stuff. The thing that I think can be helpful coming from us is that we're looking at that stuff all the time. Not only looking at a number of companies, but we're also doing research and development on new ideas, comparing them to old ideas, right? So, there's all sorts of cool new technologies, right? AR and VR and AI and all the rest of it. What does that do to the core principles of instructional design?
Right.
So it's easy to see the shiny new thing. The shiny new thing is cool. How does it compare to the core of what you learned? And I've watched you put into practice. I think that's one of them. How about you?
Yeah, I think it's exciting to be able to, and we will be. We have some episodes coming discussing new trends, and I hope that we're always kind of grounded in that thinking, which is we're not just chasing after something new and shiny, but how does this work with the existing frameworks we know? Sometimes our frameworks have to change. That's okay too. But just thinking through that from a practical level, and then you've talked about so much. We have so many different clients, and I hear from them every day, the different situations. I just talked to a client who they can't use any AI at work because of security concerns. Totally understand that. But man, there's just they were so curious. How can we use this to make, to make our job more efficient and just all these. So we hope to talk through that. And if you're working in a position where you don't have access or you do have access to certain tools, you can at least get a practical feel. You can hear about some real projects, real things that can be done.
Yep. And I think it won't be just the two of us.
No.
We really hope that the people who are consuming this podcast are also participating and sending us questions and sending us comments, challenge us.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll try to bring in a number of guests too that have interesting perspectives. They may not even be perspectives that we necessarily agree with. Sometimes they might be people who are totally outside of the industry, but that can be informative to us. I think too we want some actionable stuff.
Right. Real things like we talked about.
Yeah. And sometimes that's a little tricky to do. And if we can combine actionable with thought leadership, so that, it's action based on great theory. And that's, in all the time I've worked together with you, that's one of the things that I've always appreciated. You're always coming back to the theory, right? Come back to the theory. Think about cognitive overload. Think about balancing, right? Think about this is too much information, or people can't concentrate this long, or this isn't interactive enough. And I know you're basing those recommendations on core principles of psychology and sociology and cognition, and the other components of learning science. So what do you think? Can we cross those streams?
I think we can. That's what I'm excited about with this podcast, and also to your point, bringing in experts. So yeah, that's going to be great.
How do you see professional growth in our industry? Where do you see it coming from? How do you think this will contribute to it?
Yeah, our first and foremost is the design. I think 15 minutes is super manageable. Honestly, I always just put because we've both been in this profession, but I'm picturing myself driving home from work after slogging through PowerPoints or something. I've been working with a client all day, and I shouldn't say it like that, but it's a lot of content. Instructional designers, learning and development professionals learn something new. Sometimes every minute of the day, there's decision fatigue. And so we just want, first of all, this to be, yes, exactly. Professional development that's bite-sized, super fast. L&D budgets are alternately sometimes growing, but a lot of the extra is getting slashed. And I hear that from a ton of our clients. There aren't conferences, or if there are, they're not sending their whole team. And so
just heard today of two very, very large companies, but Fortune 100 companies that are slashing the vast majority of their L&D team, and it's unsettling.
Yeah. And so certainly all those extra learning, professional development opportunities are gone. So again, we're just trying to fill a little bit of a gap in there. And I think specifically by bringing guest speakers on too, our listeners will have opportunity to hear from maybe someone in their industry or somebody trying something they can't do. And that's going to provide just a spark even for them to maybe then take the time, be interested enough to go and explore and learn more.
Do you think that part of this, people should listen to see how much better we get at this over time? Because you know how when you look at like the pilot of a television show, you go, "Ooh, that was pretty bad." But man, by season 2,
I don't know if we want. What if we're not? That's my question.
So what if our growth cannot be measured?
That's right.
Treading water. Yeah. Well, we'll leave that up to everybody who's listening.
That's right.
And I'm sure that they will weigh in with supportive and guiding comments. So good. Well, thank you for joining me, Miriam, and thank you for everyone who's listening for your time. And we look forward to a wonderful podcast. Thank you very much. Before we wrap up the show, if you're looking to dive deeper, we've got tons of free downloads, L&D resources, and details about upcoming webinars that you won't want to miss. They're found in the episode description. Plus, if you ever want to chat with either one of us, now's your chance. You can find links in the episode description to connect directly with Miriam or me. We're here to answer your questions and to discuss all things learning and development. And speaking of questions, we love hearing from you. Whether it's a question or a comment or a topic you're curious about, or if you just want to join the conversation, drop us a comment on your favorite social media channel. Your input shapes our shows. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. It's the best way to ensure you never miss out on our latest episode. We're excited to continue to transform learning into a measurable success with you. Until next time.